Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Florida.
Last night, Jack McKeon and his good buddy Bruce Bochy squared off in Miami. And the Fish actually took an early lead. Logan Morrison and Mike Stanton took care of that. Runs were at a premium. And they will be tonight. Why? Well, they call him the Freak. And you've got a front row seat. Tim Lincecum and the Giants face the Marlins. In Miami tonight, the Florida Marlins and the San Francisco Giants are here for your baseball entertainment. It's Game 2. Game 1 was spectacular last night. The Marlins a 2-1 win. I think Game 2 is going to be a lot of fun as well. Logan Morrison drove in a big run early last night. Greg Dobbs is back in the lineup. Panda went deep with a home run. And Cody is back. Javi Vasquez gets the ball for the Fish. And you don't want to miss Tim Lincecum, who starts tonight. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz joined tonight by Jeff Conine along with Tommy Hutton. Gentlemen, let's start with this. Tommy, Jack McKeon had preached during the 7-game losing streak. Can't afford to fall behind early, and the Marlins took his advice last night.
I think the key last night, even though they did fall behind with the home run, they were able to respond quickly with 2 runs to take the lead.
How does the ball club respond to ending a 7-game losing streak, Jeff?
Well, it almost felt like a playoff victory last night with the elation of a win or after 7-game losing streak. Right now, the Marlins basically have to play the spoiler. They're not going to make the playoffs, so they're going to play teams like this Giants team tough and try to have an effect on the outcome of the postseason.
And every game this Giants team plays seems to be a low-scoring game. And, Tommy, it showed last night that if you do the little things in these ball games, good things will happen.
You know, the little things turned out to be getting clutch base hits in the first inning. How about a triple by Logan Morrison to drive in 1 run? And that was followed by Mike Stanton's base hit that put the Marlins up 2-1. That was the eventual final score. Then in the 3rd inning, after an intentional walk to load the bases, Ricky Nolasco gets Aubrey Huff, a tough hitter, to pop up on the first pitch. That was a key play in the game and really shut down some of the momentum that the Giants wanted to have going. In the 9th inning, how about a great play? A ball hit well by Cody Ross. Dwayne Wise came in the game. He's in center field. Takes the wrong turn, but is able to regroup. Kept his footing, made a great catch. The little things, making plays, getting key hits.
And I think those little things will be back in play tonight, especially with the pitching matchup that we have tonight. You got 2 guys since mid-June have been dynamite. Our Coventry Healthcare of Florida starting pitchers. Niner, tell me about Javi Vasquez. What flipped his switch in mid-June?
Well, I tell you what, 13 starts into the season. He's last in ERA in the entire league. And what I think happened with him is he got stronger as the season goes along. He works out very hard. He added a couple miles an hour to his fastball, and it's all about location. He's been spotting that fastball, especially in the outside corner, making everything else, every one of his other pitches, much more effective.
How about Tim Lincecum, Tommy?
I'll be quick on him. Hard to believe he's 10-9. In his 9 losses, the Giants 7 times have scored 2 runs or less. They haven't scored 1.
Those little things come into play again. All right, coming up, Cody Ross, former Marlin, current Giant, current reigning world champ, and always a good friend of the show. We'll sit down with Cody when we return. pitching matchup as well. Let's get it started down below with Frank Fort.
Thanks very much, Rich. Of course, over the last several seasons, Cody Ross was one of the more popular Florida Marlins in this stadium and in this uniform. Well, last year, as we all know, he was put on waivers, claimed by the Giants, mostly we thought to keep him away from the San Diego Padres, who needed an outfielder even worse than the Giants did. Well, as it turned out, Cody was MVP of the National League Championship Series and won a World Series championship ring as a member of the San Francisco Giants. Things couldn't have worked out any better for one of the nicer guys in the game.
What a blessing. At the time I was upset. Obviously I'd played here for the majority of my career. I was leaving a bunch of my teammates that I'd played with for years, and I loved playing here. I'll be honest with you. I loved the like I said, my team, the front office was great to me. All the media and fans were incredible, and I just had a really good time here, and didn't want to go anywhere. But it was a blessing, like I said, and everything worked out to be, like it was supposed to be, I guess.
You still have some fans here. Obviously, you were very popular. Saw some "We Love Cody" signs in the stands last night. That had to make you feel pretty nice.
It did. It was a good reception. I didn't know how they would react. I figured they would, cheer for me a little bit and maybe boo me later. But, they gave me a good reception, and it's nice getting back here, seeing familiar faces, seeing security guards and workers here and grounds crew, and from top to bottom. Like I said, this organization was outstanding to me. So nice to get back and say hello.
And, of course, coming off that World Series title last year and as many big hits as he had in the postseason, he's a bit of a cult hero in San Francisco as well. Game 2 of this series between the Giants and the Marlins coming up. Jeff Conine joins the guys in the booth, and Logan Morrison will read the Marlins starting lineup tonight. You don't want to miss that. Lincecum and Vasquez on the mound. It's all coming your way next right here on Fox Sports Florida.
Ready for a night of baseball? Here we go. Sun Life Stadium. Look who's leading off for the San Francisco Giants tonight. It's Cody Ross. And Javi Vasquez throws a fastball down low. Andres Torres put on the disabled list after last night's ball game. Bruce Bochy looked up and down his bench for a leadoff guy and said, Cody, you're it. And so Ross leads it off. Jeff Keppinger, Pablo Sandoval against Vasquez. You heard Ron Kulpa call strike one.
Boy, they're the numbers on Javi, and lately just fantastic. If you look at early starts for Javier Vasquez, ERA was over 7, but he's really put it together. almost to a point you could say he's been the ace over the last month.
Yeah, he and Ricky Nolasco have been terrific. Ricky had that one ball game in which he gave up a bunch of runs. Javi, of course, had that ball game with a 2.5-hour rain delay where he volunteered to come back in. A liner to left center. Peterson runs it down and makes the catch. You get a sense that Cody Ross is getting closer and closer.
Yeah, you do.
He's starting to hit the ball on the screws. Warren Henry's lineup. You've seen Cody Ross now meet Jeff Keppinger. Pablo Sandoval homered last night. In fact, he's homered in the first inning of his last 2 ball games. Aubrey Huff at first, Nate Schierholtz in right, Orlando Cabrera the shortstop. Aaron Rowan gets a start in center field. Chris Stewart, a good catch and throw guy behind the plate. Tim Lincecum hits 9th. And here is Keppinger, the Giants' second baseman. And he goes after the first pitch, hits it deep down the left field line towards the pole. That ball is gone. 21st solo home run in a row for the San Francisco Giants, adding to their major league record. Incredible. A solo homer last night by Pablo Sandoval in the first, and Keppinger hits his home run, first home run as a Giant.
Let's see where this pitch is from Javi Vasquez. Ooh, fastball right there for Keppinger. We saw earlier with the Houston Astros, he had 4 home runs as an Astro in his 21 games as a Giant. That's his first homer. Right down the line.
Talk about a remarkable streak. 21 in a row, solo home runs. David Sampson and I were talking about that in the clubhouse last night, and he asked me if I was surprised that the record wasn't more, and I was surprised that it was that long.
Yeah, 20 was the record. They said it last night. Sandoval was the guy that did it, and he takes a hack at a running fastball from Vasquez. The count is 1-1. And of course, we said it last night with Matt Cain on the mound. Sometimes for guys like that and Tim Lincecum, 1 run could be enough.
I was just about to say, you think Tim Lincecum's in there with salivating because he sees a 1 on the board in the first inning?
Well, maybe, knowing the way the Giants have been scoring runs lately.
Sandoval with a count 2-1. He had 2 hits last night. And he swings and misses. He is a guy that will go out of the strike zone, which is good news. But the bad news is he can do damage outside the strike zone.
Reminds me a little bit of Randall Simon. If you remember Randall Simon, he had the big leg kick and could hit a ball. If it was in the air, he could hit it.
The 2-2. Got him with a high fastball. There are 2 outs. Here comes Aubrey Huff, and here's the Marlins defensively.
Check on the defense, brought to you by Warren Henry with Morrison, Peterson, and Stanton in the outfield. Same setup in the infield as we saw last night. John Buck behind the plate. And I'll tell you what, that fastball that got by Sandoval was a weapon Javi Vasquez didn't have early in the year. Good to see.
Paints the corner on Aubrey Huff. 1 for 4 last night was Huff.
And you saw the great location pretty much on every pitch except for the ball to Keppinger that he was setting up down and away and came in on him.
Giants, of course, have a couple of University of Miami legends in Huff and Pat Burrell. It's a great shot of them on the infield in Arlington embracing at the end of the World Series last year. Vasquez dumps that one in the dirt, and the count's 1-2.
One of those stories, Rich, you would have thought, I'm sure, when they were playing at the University of Miami, that was the last thing they thought about, being teammates on a world championship team.
Been some decent guys come out of that program, huh?
Just a few. 1-2 coming. Outside corner. So Javi Vasquez looks sharp, save 1. And that was Jeff Keppinger. Logan Morrison brings us the lineups when we return. Giants a 1-0 lead for the Marlins lineup. Here is Logan Morrison.
Leading things off for us today will be Emilio Bonifacio, a.k.a. Smiley, playing shortstop. Alfredo the Amazing Amezaga will be playing second base, hitting second. Yours truly, Logan Morrison, playing left field, batting third. Batting fourth will be Megatron Mike Stanton. He's in right field. Greg Dobbs, the ageless wonder, at third base. Gabby Sanchez, the all-star, at first base. Brian Peterson, not Peterson, in center. John Buck, JB, as we like to call him, catching, and Javier Vasquez, the dominating pitchers, is batting ninth.
And all those guys get to face this guy, Tim Lincecum, and certainly that's not an easy task.
Well, a guy who's won a couple of Cy Young Awards, 2008, 2009. Been an all-star 3 times. He's got the credentials of a guy who's 35 years old, and he's just 27.
Decent.
Yeah.
Logan Morrison mentioned dominating pitchers, and I'm sure he didn't mean to put the S on the end, but it included this guy right here.
Without a doubt, Lincecum against Bonifacio. First pitch runs away, and it's 1-0. Bonifacio, Amezaga, and then Morrison. The Marlins last night fell behind 1-0, but then bounced back with 2 runs in the bottom of the first. And a strike, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Lincecum has started just twice against the Marlins, and each time it's been here. He's not faced the Marlins in San Francisco, and he's 1-0.
That one fouled back and out of play. And he's a young pitcher, yet in his time in the big leagues, guys, he's really matured and he's kind of changed. He's not throwing 95, 96 like he was when he walked into this game. 1-2.
Definitely become more of a pitcher. I think refined his location on his pitches so he doesn't have to put that kind of effort into every single pitch. And the equalizer, the great equalizer, is that changeup, a devastating changeup he has.
2-2. This is down low. There was the change.
Yeah, he's always been a strikeout pitcher. The scouting report brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. Freakish delivery, 2 size. A little more with 2 seamers this year, as opposed to that 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Bonifacio pulls it on the ground. Huff picks it up. Giants defensively, it's a veteran group out there.
Yeah, it sure is. Brought to you by Warren Henry, with Cody Ross in left field, Rowan in center, Sherholtz in right, great arms in the outfield. Sandoval and the veteran Orlando Cabrera is at short. Keppinger and Huff, a lot of veterans on that field. Chris Stewart, who is, I don't want to say personal catcher of Tim Lincecum, but he catches him often.
Here's Alfredo Amezaga. And Amezaga takes a fastball for a strike. Alfredo sprayed line drives all over the park last night and had 1 hit to show for it. He was robbed by Aubrey Huff of a hit in the third on a hot smash down the first baseline. And then he lined to right to finish his night. But it was Amezaga's hit that got the Marlins started in the first. He scored on the Logan Morrison triple. Morrison then came in on a Mike Stanton single. Lincecum, 165 strikeouts already this year. Add 1 more to that total.
He has led the National League in strikeouts each of the last 3 years.
All year cooling brings you the weather. Tonight you can see the clouds above. There's a chance of rain. San Francisco, 68 degrees and sunny. 86 degrees here, 71% humidity.
I was in San Francisco last week, and it was 68 and sunny. Oh,
not too much humidity out there.
No humidity. What a nice break. Nice break from this.
So Morrison climbs in. Lincecum misses high. Lincecum now with 166 strikeouts. Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers leads the National League at 184. Cliff Lee at 177, and Lincecum is third. 4 strikeouts ahead of Roy Halladay. 2-0. Morrison seems to have refound his stroke over the last week.
Saw some great base hits last night, and You know, I watched him in the cage earlier that day, and he really had a pretty poor batting practice round. He was frustrated, rolling over a lot to first base, second base, but sometimes that translates into a great game. How many times you take horrible BP, but you got 3 hits that night?
Yeah, and then you have a great BP and come up empty.
And take terrible swings during the game.
3-0 coming.
Maybe that's why Jack McKeon decided not to have BP tonight before the game.
Dan Marino getting a good look at Mike Stanton.
He is tearing down the number tonight.
Well, Morrison dropping his bat, more like throwing his bat down, disgusted at himself that he let a 3-1 pitch that was ball 4 clip his bat.
Yeah, getting confirmation from Ron Kulpa, home plate umpire, too.
Lincecum working from the stretch with nobody on. And Morrison fouls it off.
That's an interesting scenario. We talked with Dave Righetti, his pitching coach. Said he does it a couple of times a year when he doesn't feel he's getting a straight line to the plate. And he feels when he goes from the stretch, that helps him straighten up a little bit more toward the plate.
Bruce Bochy, Dave Righetti on the bench. Another 3-2 coming to Morrison. And it's up. Morrison walks. Brings Mike Stanton to the plate.
You know, because you have a guy who's been so tremendous over a 3-year stretch. Last 3 years, he's had 15 wins, 200 innings, 200 strikeouts. So you go to the pitching coach and you say, well, when he gets out of whack, what happens? And that basically was what Dave Righetti said. He'll work out of the stretch sometimes to get him on that straight line to the plate.
Well, if he's out of whack, I need some of that stuff.
I was about to say, when you were that good over that period of time and you still feel that you're getting out of whack.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Talk about maybe being a perfectionist and an expert at your craft, knowing that you're that minutely off that you know a small adjustment to get right back on track.
Well, at 5'11", too, he has the stride of a guy 6'5".
I tell you what, you said that you listed him as 165 in the pregame. I think he's put on some weight. He looks much more muscular than he did when he came to Florida a couple years ago.
When he got to the big leagues, he weighed 155 pounds, and he threw 96, 97. Here's a look at that stride.
That's amazing.
Right on Javi, who is probably 6'2".
1-2. And it's down low. Since the All-Star break, Lincecum's ERA is 1.34.
Is that good?
Apparently it's out of whack for him. He's 2-2 on Stanton. Morrison's at first. Those are his splits, first and second half. And that hits Mike Stanton. So the Marlins have a couple on, and here comes Greg Dobbs.
Now this was out of whack. The other thing too, you have a guy like Lincecum, and there may be no basis for this, but here's a guy who grew up in the Northwest. He pitches for the Giants. You get him throwing a lot of pitches, and it's hot here for him especially. And he's 21 pitches now here in the first inning.
I saw him throw in college, and he may have weighed 135 pounds at the University of Washington. And he just dominated the Pac-10 conference.
They have a note in their media guide that when he started high school, he was 4'11" and weighed 85 pounds.
Wow. I was like that when I was like 7.
Well, one pitch misses down low to Greg Dobbs. Lincecum out of Renton, Washington. Morrison walked. Lincecum hit Stanton. And the 1-1 coming to Dobbs.
I think it definitely does affect opposing teams coming into Florida, especially playing in a climate like San Francisco. I remember guys coming in, and you hit that 4th, 5th inning, you'd see their uniform totally drenched, and they just couldn't go on. I mean, they were literally exhausted.
He's out in front of Greg Dobbs now, 1-2. Giants got a Jeff Keppinger home run in the top of the inning. 1-2 coming. And Dobbs strikes out. 95. Lincecum dials up and gets out of a 25-pitch inning.
Coventry Healthcare de Florida.
And the Brian Wilson Beards are out here again tonight. The Marlins were happy not to see Brian Wilson at the end of the game last night. They'll try to prevent that again tonight. 1-0 Giants. Second inning. Javi Vasquez misses outside. Pinch hitting appearance last night by Nate Shearholtz. And he's in the starting lineup. He's been bothered by a sore hip. Got Orlando Cabrera and Aaron Rowan coming up. Vasquez pops the corner. It's 1-1.
That's been the biggest improvement of Javi Vasquez. We've seen him use that fastball.
Breaking ball. That ball's hit a long way. It's hooking. It is foul. Wow, not by much. Shearholtz had the best look at it of anyone because he was right at first base. And Angel Hernandez, the first base umpire, called it clearly.
Yeah, no complaint from Shearholtz, so he saw it as well. I don't think he'll see that breaking ball again.
That's that happy zone, down and into a lefty like that with the slider that doesn't quite get in far enough. They like that pitch.
Vasquez misses outside. Tommy noted that Lincecum has led the National League in strikeouts the last 3 years. Well, Javi Vasquez right now is the active leader in all of baseball for career strikeouts. He has struck out 2,470, and that has him 32nd on the all-time list. Jack Morris, he is 8 behind Jack Morris. He is 16 behind Don Drysdale. Drysdale's 30th, Morris 31st. But Javi, the active leader, 32nd all time.
That's some pretty impressive people he's going to pass probably before the end of this year.
That's some great company, and I think a tribute to his health. The fact that he's never been on the disabled list, the way he keeps himself in shape.
Nolan Ryan atop the list. Randy Johnson 48.75 and Roger Clemens 46.72 are 2 and 3. 2-2 outside corner. Add another one to Javi Vasquez career totals. It's his third tonight.
He's found that outside corner. Ron Copel, the home plate umpire, is very consistent with it. Is it there? No, it's just off the plate. But you know what? As long as he keeps giving it to Javi, he's going to keep going there. And John Buck keeps setting out there, too.
I was just going to say, with a veteran pitcher that knows he's getting a few inches off the outside part of the plate, he will abuse that.
Cabrera bangs one out to short, and Bonifacio throws him out. Have you visited the new Marlins ballpark sales headquarters in Miami? The luxurious new facility provides fans the opportunity to explore an actual ballpark suite, see all the new amenities, and experience a 3D view from any seat in the ballpark. 1-877-411-2012. Make an appointment or go to marlins.com/new ballpark. And marlins.com/new ballpark, you can also see all the latest the live webcam of the exterior and the interior. And now's a good time to do it because you can see the what the ballpark looks like right around game time. Throwing a chopper. Bonifacio waits for a hop and throws him out. Nice inning. And on we go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 San Francisco. Toyota moving forward by AT&T. By Checkers, little place, big taste. Stand by all year cooling. Today's comfort, yesterday's prices.
Rich, is that where Minervini is tonight?
Apparently so. Frank Fort is patrolling the stadium tonight. Tim Lincecum against Javi Vasquez. And right now, a Jeff Keppinger home run is standing up. Gabby Sanchez, Brian Peterson, John Buck against Lincecum. And a first pitch fastball misses down low.
And again, Lincecum is working out of the stretch with nobody on base.
He really changes speeds off his fastball. You know, you don't really want to call 90 miles an hour a batting practice fastball, but I guess for Lincecum it is. Yeah, you saw it in the inning, last inning, he threw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to Greg Dobbs, which was up out of the strike zone. And it's quite a tool or a weapon to have when you can reach back and throw 95, 96 whenever you want to. A strike and it's 3-1. Tommy, we focused on Gabby Sanchez on Marlins Live and his struggles.
Yeah, in talking to everybody around Gabby, people that have seen him, and Niner, you can probably throw in your 2 cents as well, but anxious, getting out of the strike zone, maybe trying to do a little too much with each at bat. A little bit of everything. It's kind of compounded. Yeah, been there, done that. And he takes a called third right down the middle, it looked like. And I think it's at this point, you know, I'm always a big proponent of it's all mental. I think his preparation or his thought process is messed up, and that's what messes up your
your physical actions. So, you know, you start struggling and you want to change this a little bit. You want to tweak this here, and you get further and further away from where you really want to be.
And then when you're in that mode and you're jumping a little bit, that pitch that was a real good pitch to you doesn't look like a strike.
Exactly.
That wasn't just a strike. That was a great pitch to hit.
Yeah. Right now, he still thinks that wasn't a good pitch until he sees it when he watches video tomorrow.
And when you're struggling like that, they might throw it on the outside corner, and you think you couldn't hit that with a fungo, like you said, Tommy, because your head's moving forward, you're jumping at it, so it alters your vision.
You know, one thing that has changed in this game for a hitter like Gabby, on a pitch like that, players will go back into the clubhouse and watch the at-bat during the game and go into the video room just to check and see.
Some do and some don't, though, don't they?
Some do and some don't. I think Gabby will go check occasionally. Lomo will check occasionally. I thought it was too far to walk up there, so I didn't want to waste my energy going all the way to the clubhouse.
Brian Peterson walks. He was 3 for 3 last night. Niner, what do you think of Brian Peterson? Tommy and I talked about him last night. We've been impressed with a young player who has taken to the role of fourth outfielder, and when he's had opportunities to start, he's played very well.
He has. I think last year when he got a few opportunities, he really wanted to try to impress, so he did press and try to do a little bit too much. I think he's more relaxed this year, much more patient at the plate. He's putting the ball in play, and you see when he's putting the ball in play, if it's not right at somebody, he's beating it out.
John Buck takes a breaking ball for a strike. Now, Buck, I don't think, was happy with that call, and it's 0-1.
It's always one of those as a catcher, you really can't air it out too much to the umpire because you want your pitcher to get that same pitch.
And I think Buck realizes that Javi's been getting a pretty generous corner.
Yeah.
By the way, we were talking about Lincecum's stride. The normal stride for a pitcher is 77 to 87% of his height. Lincecum's is 129%. So about 7.5 feet is his stride.
Peterson from first.
Wow, who comes up with this stuff?
The crack staff.
Yeah, that's impressive. There you see, trying to go up and out of the strike zone with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball again.
He's done that with 2 strikes a few times.
Off-speed pitch, and Buck fouls it back. He's an incredible athlete. He can walk on his hands around the bases. If you want him to, he can walk on his hands out to center field and back to home plate. So he's incredibly strong. And there's probably 9 teams that continue to kick themselves that did not draft him in the first round. Giants took him 10th overall. 2 Cy Young Awards, 1 World Series ring later. I think a lot of people wish they had to do that over again.
They made him rethought their decision. And by the way, I like checking every night. Dan Uggla, 1 for 1. The streak continues. 33 consecutive games now.
Amazing.
Just checking on the Braves and Cubs.
How about the 2 homers he hit last night, sending Carlos Zambrano not only to the showers, but also to an apparent suspension. Javi Vasquez swings and misses. If you haven't heard today, Zambrano, who stormed into the clubhouse after he was ejected for throwing at Chipper Jones, after he gave up, what, 5 homers last night?
Yeah, he'd given up back-to-back home runs.
Cleaned out his locker when the game ended. He was nowhere to be seen, and that incensed the Cubs, and they have placed him on the 30-day suspended list, which means he doesn't get paid for 30 days. And when you're making $18 million a year, and that's 1/6 of your paycheck gone, that's a pretty good chunk of change.
It's a very large chunk of change.
Quite a dilemma for the Cubs.
Javi fouls it back. There were some good players taken in front of Lincecum. Evan Longoria with the number 3 overall pick from the Rays. Clayton Kershaw, the number 7 pick. 0-2. He got him. Tim Lincecum is heating up here tonight. 5 strikeouts already for Lincecum. On top of the fish. This copyrighted telecast is authority of the Florida Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins.
Rich, I think you should have let Niner read that. Next time.
Giants catcher Chris Stewart is up. He'll be followed by Tim Lincecum and then Cody Ross in the top of the 3rd. Jeff Keppinger with a rare home run. He pulled it into a Gonzo's corner in left field. And that's the difference in the ball game. That came in the 1st inning against Javi Vasquez. Stewart barrels one up. Dobbs makes a nice play. Ball was hit hard.
That's what they call the old do or die down there. You stick the glove down and hope the ball finds it, because this ball is smoked by Stewart. And Dobbs is right there to pick it, has plenty of time to get the out.
A ball like that, you're, like you said, you're basically putting your glove where you think it's going to go, and you're hoping it goes in there.
So here's Lincecum, and he takes outside. Lincecum not having the best of years offensively this year. The others that were drafted in front of him: Luke Hochevar, the right-handed pitcher for the Royals, 1st overall. Greg Reynolds out of Stanford to the Rockies, a pitcher, 2nd overall. Then Longoria to the Rays. Pirates took Brad Lincoln with the 4th pick. The big whiff were the Seattle Mariners. They took a good pitcher, Brandon Morrow, but Lincecum was right in their backyard. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Taken 6th overall by the Detroit Tigers, Andrew Miller. Lincecum, of course, the 10th overall pick. Kershaw was the 7th. Drew Stubbs, the fine outfielder for the Reds, 8th. And William Rowell, a third baseman, a high school player, taken by the Orioles, 9th overall. And then Lincecum.
Lincecum being from the Northwest, as we've talked about, for some reason you just can't picture him pitching anywhere else, back east. Yeah, you picture him in San Francisco, Northwest, somewhere out west.
Cody Ross takes inside. Now, Ross last night nearly tied the ball game with his drive to center on the stumbling diving catch by Dwayne Wise. That was with Pablo Sandoval at first in a 2-1 game in the 9th. And Tommy, he hit another ball hard to lead off the ball game. And you and I were talking about it before the ball game. You just get this sense that Cody, who is struggling right now, is starting to come out of it.
Yeah, he hit 4 fly balls last night. This one he hit really well, straightaway center. Wise almost took the wrong turn, and then when he made the plant to move to get the ball, he slipped a little bit, but he stayed with it.
I think in that situation he's probably playing no doubles, so
yeah,
he's much deeper than he would have been normally. When he read that off the bat, it was going to be, he thought, almost off the wall, but he didn't have as much ground to cover because he's playing no doubles. When he turned around, he's like, uh-oh, that thing hit a parachute, and he had to make a quick right turn.
Good breaking ball. Vasquez strikes out Ross. Javi Vasquez looks sharp tonight. He has struck out 5. But the Giants have the lone run. That Keppinger homer still stands. Let's check in with Frank Fort. Frank?
Thanks very much, Rich. We've talked all evening about what a good pitcher Tim Lincecum is, and we know that he is, but check out some of these numbers. When he gets ahead 0-1, batters are hitting 197. He's even stingier with guys on base. With runners on, he's allowing a 187 batting average, and runners in scoring position with 2 out, a paltry 109 opposing batting average. Now, he's 10-9. That's because the Giants score a little over 3 runs a game for him as Bonifacio lays the bunt down foul. In fact, in his last 12 starts, Lincecum has gotten more than 3 runs of support only 3 times over his last 12 starts. So that's why his record is what it is. And why he's a great pitcher? Well, you look at those numbers, particularly with guys on base. He is absolutely stingy, guys.
And he was the man in the postseason last year. I know we talked about Matt Cain's numbers, and Cain didn't give up an earned run. But it was Lincecum that beat Roy Halladay twice in the National League Championship Series, and then went on to beat Cliff Lee twice in the World Series.
Yeah, Frank was talking about the lack of support. 7 of his 9 losses, the Giants have scored 2 runs or less.
Bonifacio goes after a high fastball. The pitchers, as we expected, are enjoying the evening so far.
Look at those postseason numbers. Wow.
You mentioned, Tommy, about Lincecum's makeup and how poised he is in the mound at such an early age. I mean, when he first came in, he had a maturity well beyond his years, and you can tell just the way he operates in a game that he'd be a big game pitcher. He'd do very well in the postseason.
2-2 pitch coming. Here's another amazing thing about Lincecum. For all that he's accomplished, leading the National League in strikeouts the last 3 years, 2 Cy Young Awards, 4-time All-Star. He has 2 years of arbitration left. High chopper, Sandoval, no chance. Bonifacio has the base hit. And Emilio Bonifacio leads off the 3rd with an infield single.
Well, the Marlins get their first hit And it's a high chopper that Sandoval has no chance. Now it'll be really interesting to see, because you know this is going to be a low-scoring game, the way things have started. I'd be curious to see how Jack McKeon plays this here in this third inning.
30th infield hit for Bonifacio. That ties him with Michael Bourne and Cameron Maben, who also have 30. Those are the 3 top spots in the National League for infield hits.
I would expect to see Meziga bunting here to get him over.
Meziga takes down low. Last night, Jack did a little bunting and running at the same time.
Chris Stewart behind the plate, about 34%, throwing runners out. Pretty good.
He is the Giants' best catch and throw guy, and that includes Buster Posey in that mix as well. Stewart's time down to second, very, very good. Joe Espada
shaking his head. I wonder if he had put the bunt on the first pitch.
That's 1-0. Bonifacio away from first. Line into center field. Charging is Rowan. He dives and gets it. And almost lost it on his way back up. Rowan made the catch, and as he came up, it looked like he kind of bobbled it a bit, but he hangs on for a terrific catch.
We talked about this outfield when we set up the Giants defensively. He just had a little trouble getting it out of the glove. All 3 of these guys could play center field. We know Cody Ross can. And Scherholz has a tremendous arm in right field. So it's a very, very good defensive outfield.
Well, after that out, the likelihood that Bonifacio is going to try to steal second, is that raised now?
Yes.
He's running. It's a delayed steal, and he is in there.
He did it again.
I tell you what, I don't think it's been close at second base. Every time he's tried that delay steal, he gets it every time.
And you could see how the catcher, Chris Stewart, just paused momentarily. He also demonstrates his strong arm by making it a close play. Perfect timing by Bonifacio with the delayed steal. Watch Stewart. See the little pause? He holds the ball. He's trying to get the call on the pitch.
Morrison takes down low, and it's 2-0. Bonifacio now 28 stolen bases.
Niner, we've talked about, Rich and I have talked about, neither one of us have ever seen a guy with his speed pull off the delayed steal that much, and so successful.
Yeah, you don't see it anymore. Usually it's for slow guys like us, you know, that they try to sneak one by somebody. Not only are you trying to catch the catcher asleep, you're trying to catch the middle infielders. They're kind of relaxed at their position. You try to beat them to the bag. But to have a guy like Bonifacio with his type speed, heck, I'd do it every time. It hasn't been close.
3-0 pitch. At the letters and a strike.
And I'd like to find out if he's been doing that on his own. He decided to start this delay steal process on his own, or someone got in his ear and said, hey, why don't you try delay steal?
(3-1) outside corner. Lincecum had fallen behind Morrison at 3-0. He walked him back in the first. A couple of walks and 5 strikeouts for Tim Lincecum.
He's had 3 ball counts to 7 of the first 12 batters.
Already at 57 pitches here in the third. Morrison got an off-speed pitch, and he pulls it to the right side. Keppinger flips it to first, and Bonifacio is 90 feet away with 2 outs, and here's Mike Stanton. Poll question brought to you by Tickets of America. Which band from the San Francisco Bay Area is your favorite? Creedence Clearwater Revival.
There's only one on that list.
The Doobie Brothers. The Grateful Dead. Come on.
There's only one on that list.
Tommy, I could see you in the Haight-Ashbury doing the twirl dance.
That's what I'm saying. Where are the Deadheads on this?
Green Day and Journey. 789-789. Stanton takes
all great bands, though.
Niner, I heard you on Marlins Live. A big vote for Journey.
Yeah, I grew up listening to them.
Little Steve Perry.
Steve Perry. We were out in San Francisco when I was playing with the Marlins, my second stint, and wasn't playing that night. I look up, 3 rows above the dugout, who's sitting right there in the aisle. Steve Perry.
Perry was captured in the stands at the World Series last year singing when the lights go down in the city, which is a tradition in San Francisco, that ball is going to be a foul ball. They traditionally play that in San Francisco, and then certainly during the postseason. And as they were playing it and the entire stadium was singing it, they found Steve Perry in the stands just with his huge smile singing along right with it. Now Lincecum out in front of Stanton 0-2. Got him. Fastball elevated, came up and in. And Lincecum strikes out Stanton, then hangs on to a 1-0 lead. San Francisco, the boys in blue, if you will. Rich Waltz, Jeff Conine, and Tommy Hutton. Guys, we thought this would be a pitcher's duel, and it certainly has lived up to it so far.
Yeah, just like last night, Giants leading off with a home run, but unfortunately the Marlins haven't been able to answer back yet.
Well, you also wonder how going to go into this game. A lot of pitches, a lot of strikeouts, but that usually equates a lot of pitches too.
And the Northwest boy, we'll see how he handles the heat and humidity of South Florida.
Javi Vasquez fires a fastball, and this is Keppinger, our Coors Light cold hard blast. Now, certainly not to the deepest part of the ballpark, but Alex Gonzalez will tell you if they go out there, they count just as much as if they go out dead center.
They count a whole lot better there than those ones that are caught about 433 feet away.
Yeah.
In the triangle.
Keppinger acquired about a week before the trade deadline from the Houston Astros. Gets into another one. Morrison started back, now comes in, and he makes a knee-high catch on the move. There's an out, and here comes Pablo Sandoval. Now we have one more to take a shot at our trivia question with Jeff Conine in the booth tonight. AT&T trivia question. Who were the Giants' last 20-game winners? And they both came in the same year.
Wow, 2 20-game winners in the same year.
Adley Hammaker win 20 games?
Made the All-Star team.
They gave up the Fred Lynn Grand Slam in the All-Star game, right?
Not John Burkett.
I might say John Burkett
like
and
that?
Bill Swift.
Bill Swift, hard sliders, huh?
Sinker, big-time sinker slider, yeah.
Slider.
And they call John Burkett the poor man's Greg Maddux.
Yes, they did.
That's still high praise.
Yeah. Heck of a bowler, too.
Pablo Sandoval struck out in the first. Sandoval's helmet has so much gunk on it, it almost looks Padre brown.
I'm not sure if it's pine tar or gel.
But that's almost the old Padre colors. And the old Padre colors mean something to both managers. because when Jack McKeon was the general manager of the Padres, he got a phone call from a backup catcher who was looking for a job, Bruce Bochy. Bochy called every general manager in the game looking for a job, and McKeon was the only guy that said, yeah, come to camp. You can compete for the backup spot. And as things worked out, Bochy got a chance to play for the Padres. McKeon was the GM at that time. As the season wound down, McKeon took Bochy aside and said, you know what you ought to do? You ought to go to AAA next year and be a player coach for us and then start managing. And Bochy thought, you know what, that's pretty good advice. And that is how Bruce Bochy got into coaching. He got to the big leagues with the Padres after he climbed up the Padres system as their third base coach. Joe McIlvaine was the GM by then, but it was Jack McKeon that planted the seed of being a manager in Bruce Bochy.
And he went on to manage the Padres 12 years. And right now, the only active managers with more wins than Bruce Bochy, La Russa, Jim Leland, and Dusty Baker. The changeup. He hasn't used that a lot.
Well, that's what we're talking about, you know, with this fastball, the renewed velocity in his fastball. You saw the last one to Pablo Sandoval was 93 miles an hour. Now they're having to gear up a little bit more for that higher velocity fastball, and it makes the changeup more effective.
And it's also second time around in the order for the Padres, so maybe mix in a few different looks.
And you see him pounding that outside expanded corner that he's getting tonight.
That Greg Maddux corner.
Oh, that was awful. I still have nightmares about that corner.
The 1-2. Javi waits for a nice hop, fires over to first, and goes 1-2-3. He's been nailed since giving up that Jeff Keppinger home run. Fox Sports Florida brought to you by Florida Power and Light. FPL is working to make its system stronger, smarter, cleaner, and even more efficient. Visit FPLConnect.com to learn more. And by Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. In Miami tonight, Tim Lincecum and Javi Vasquez dueling in a 1-0 game. A Jeff Keppinger home run in the first inning. Vasquez has retired 11 in a row since. The Marlins have had runners in scoring position twice against Tim Lincecum. But as Frank Ford alluded to, Lincecum with runners in scoring position, especially with 2 outs, is just dynamite. As Dobbs found out, it was Dobbs that struck out with runners first and second and 1 out in the first.
There just haven't been many balls squared up. The only hit, the infield hit. The hardest hit ball, probably the line drive out that Meziga hit.
With runners in scoring position and 2 outs, Lincecum is holding opponents to about a 100 batting average. 7 for 66.
Those big game, big time pitchers, Cy Young winners, they get tougher when the opportunities are on the other side. Most guys, you might see a higher batting average in those situations because they're not as comfortable. He gets more difficult to hit.
Hitters came in hitting .217 on the season against him. And Dobbs strikes out for the second time. All right, gentlemen, get your guesses in. Niner, you're going with Bill Swift and John Burkett.
Yeah.
All right, how about Ron Bryant and Mike McCormick?
Ooh, a couple of lefties.
Oh, look at Niner.
Look at Niner. Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Polite golf applause.
I hear that in the background. Thank you, Salts. Very nice.
All right, let's see if Gabby Sanchez has made an adjustment. Called out on strikes his last time up. Remember, it was a pitch down the middle of the plate, and Gabby looked puzzled at the plate, questioned the home plate umpire, Ron Cooper.
When you get in these kind of funks in this kind of situation, it's almost best to stop trying to make adjustments. You know, when you get that hit or you get that home run that kind of ends a drought, you get back in the dugout and you're like, what was I thinking about? And often it's nothing. I wasn't thinking about anything.
How many times, and you probably did it yourself, you hit a home run and go back in the dugout and guys will say, what pitch did you hit? Not sure.
I don't know if I believe that one. I was
flat
like,
slider or hanging something. Or,
what do you mean? You just saw it coming in. Oh, I don't know. I'm like, I think I knew everyone that I hit out.
Gabby to right center field. Rowan calls Shearholtz off and makes the catch. To commemorate the Marlins' history as the Florida Marlins, we want you to help us select the top memories in the team's 19 seasons. Go to Marlins.com, cast your vote for the top memory, and be there at closing day on September 28th when the winning memory will be revealed. Go to Marlins.com and vote today.
Niner, the tough part, too, for Gabby, and we mentioned it on Marlins Live. You're struggling. You're trying to come out of things. It's a tough night to do it against a guy like Lincecum.
Yeah, you're hoping that someone else might be on the mound or another team might be in town because you know you're going to have 3 pretty darn good starters on the mound.
Here's the 0-1. Ball and a strike to Brian Peterson. He walked in the second. An inning in which Lincecum struck out the side. I've always struggled with that term because I always envision striking out the side as striking out all 3 guys. But others feel if you give up a 3-run homer and strike out 3 that inning, you struck out the side. Any opinions?
Semantics. It's semantics. I think the side is considered 3 hitters, 1, 2, 3. So maybe that's why.
Consecutively, though. That's what you think, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You know, you strike out the side. That's 1, 2, 3. Not quite the side. Just hitters number 1 and 3. He's only human. By Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Here's the only edge of the game. This Javi Vasquez fastball, which drifted into the bat of Jeff Keppinger, just snuck it out down the line. Keppinger giving the Giants the edge. You two can keep your edge with Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Nate Shearholtz, Orlando Cabrera, and Aaron Rowans for the Giants. Liner to left. Back goes Morrison. It's over his head. It's off of Charlie Huff. Morrison spins. And with a slide, Shearholtz. He's going to third. Gabby picks it up. Throws to third. He is safe. And the Marlins, with a big mistake, allow Shearholtz to get to third with nobody out. That just cannot happen.
Yeah, in any kind of game, let alone a 1-0 game. Shearholtz really stings this ball. It's a double.
Great base running by Shearholtz here. He sees that the gap of how long Gabby Sanchez had to run to this ball. And Gabby should have been backing up that throw. I mean, the runner is already by him. He's got nothing else to do but watch that throw come in. I think he should have closed the gap.
The Marlins are going to close the infield gap and bring the infielders in now with Cabrera up. And he pops it down the line. Long run for Stanton. It's going to be foul. And it lands harmlessly on the warning track.
Interesting matchup. You have Javier Vasquez and Orlando Cabrera, who were teammates for 6 years with the Montreal Expos.
Wow, doesn't that seem like a really, really long time ago?
Montreal
Expos.
You have kids now that go, who?
I know.
What?
In fact, Javi has made only one start against the Giants since 2005. There's a strike. 0-2. Well, he's got Cabrera and Rowand as he tries to get it out without letting Shearholtz score.
He knows that Cabrera will swing at pitches close with 2 strikes like that. You don't have to throw a strike.
That one wasn't even very close.
Wasn't even close.
Still made contact with it. You know who's very famous at that, who I played with, especially in '97, was Edgar Renteria. Could throw the bat at the ball and get a base hit as well as anyone I've ever seen.
And they're both Colombian shortstops. So it must be something.
They must teach him something.
Growing up in Colombia, yeah.
I was talking with Orlando about players out of Colombia. There are a couple of pitchers in the big leagues. But he and his brother Holbert.
You said he gave you an update on his brother.
His brother is in the Mexican League right now. His brother, Holbert Cabrera, has played in just about every league there is. And what a great guy, a very good hitter. Been in Japan. One, two. Tried to get him to bite on that same pitch. 2-2. The error goes to Morrison, though the ball skipped by Amezaga, a ball that probably should have been knocked down and certainly should have been backed up by Gabby. 2-2. Breaking ball popped up. Gabby on the run, and he's got it. Tries to stay in the field of play, and he does.
Well, that's a good jump by Gabby because that ball was popped in the air, but not too high.
Yeah, we need a ruling on that because I know that in some parks, I don't know if it's a ground rule, but I've been told as a first baseman that you have to come out of the dugout to make a throw. So it's not a dead ball if you're in control going into the dugout necessarily.
Well, Javi's got the one out. Now here's Rowan. That one skips away. Buck has no idea where it is, and the run will score easily. And so I guess it's appropriate that on an error, which moves Shearholtz to scoring position, it's a wild pitch that delivers him.
Well, that breaking ball just totally got away from Javi, and a sloppy run for the Giants, but they'll take it.
Rowan, a liner into right. That's a base hit. He's 1 for 2, and he continues to plague the fish. Over 340 in his career against the Marlins, and many of those at-bats as a Philadelphia Philly.
Played with him briefly in Philly, and one of those guys you love to have on your team. Every time he goes out there, it's all out. Gives his best every time he goes out there. Obviously remembered for that play he made in Philly where he ran into the outfield fence and broke his face. Hung on to the ball. They loved him in Philly for that.
Here's Chris Stewart.
Came off the field, he looked like Chuck Wepner.
Wasn't Chuck Wepner nicknamed the Bayonne Bleeder?
Bayonne Bleeder.
Well, another guy that's tough as nails. You know him, Dan Patrick. Every morning, I know Jeff Conine, when you're on your elliptical machine or your bike, you've got it on FSN watching the Dan Patrick Show, weekdays at 9 a.m. on FSN. Lincecum up. Vasquez gets a strike. So a double, a throwing error, a wild pitch, and it's 2-0. And Lincecum must think it's Christmas to have 2 runs.
Christmas in August.
He isn't paid to hit, and it's 0-2.
Notice he even has that elbow guard to protect that throwing elbow. You don't see a lot of pitchers wear that.
Well, the guys that are right-handed pitchers that bat left-handed are really exposed. Or lefty pitchers who hit right-handed.
Does JJ wear one?
I believe so.
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he does, yeah.
It's called an insurance policy.
Major.
That's an expensive right elbow.
Sandy Koufax didn't. He threw left-handed, hit right-handed, but they didn't have him then anyway.
Here's the 2-2. Struck him out. So Vasquez ends the inning. The Giants get themselves a run and stretch it to 2-0. Stats, little gas meters that measure a pitcher's durability, and social media up the Wazoo. How's that? You can say that. That's a nickname for a college team, Washington State. It's all available on FoxSportsFlorida.com. Hey, Planet of the Apes was last week, okay? We're done with that.
I saw it today with my kids.
Did you?
Yes.
Well, our Jim Holley was instrumental in filming the award-winning promo, which was actually shot here in this stadium, where the apes appear above the brim of the stadium with the spears. So, I ask you, Jeff Conine, did the movie live up to Jim Holley's promo?
Absolutely.
Really?
It all came flashing back to me as soon as I saw that. I immediately said, I've seen that before. I've seen that scene with just a little bit different scenery.
I think Jim Holley got a little residual from the admission price.
Did the apes in the movie drink Bud Light?
Did not see that in the movie, no.
So this one has actually been assimilated into this culture now.
Yes.
So it's no longer their planet.
Are we to assume that perhaps that's his daughter?
Things evolve quickly here. Here's the 3-2. Buck gets an off-speed pitch and fouls it back and out of play. John Buck, Javi Vasquez, and Emilio Bonifacio. Tim Lincecum has thrown 82 pitches tonight, and he has punched out 8.
Compared to Javi Vasquez, who has thrown 62.
And John Buck works a walk, and that works out nicely with Vasquez coming up. I guess that's the hope, even though the Giants have a very good bullpen with a lockdown back of the pen with Sergio Romo along with Brian Wilson. You hope to get Lincecum up into the low 100s and get him out of there in the 7th or the 8th inning. Here is Vasquez. Sandoval about 15 feet on the grass at third.
A little tougher now, too, because John Buck's the runner.
Javi gets it down. It's a good bunt. Aubrey Huff flips it to Keppinger. With a sacrifice, moves Buck into scoring position. Here comes Bonifacio. Marlins watch party coming up on Wednesday the 17th at the Sports Grill on Bird Road in Miami. The Marlins take on the Rockies at 8:40. Billy the Marlin will be there. The Mermaids, they will be there. And you can win tickets and autographed memorabilia. Corona and Corona Light specials.
Great sacrifice by Javi there. I mean, 100% of the time for me, a pitcher should try to bunt it to the first baseman. He's got the most difficult play to try to get the lead runner at second base. So often you see them try to go to third, and third baseman's charging. So he's got a good head of steam coming there, and he's really got the only chance of getting, other than the pitcher, getting the lead runner at second base.
Bonifacio has the only hit of the night for the Marlins. An infield hit, and he goes after a high off-speed pitch. And that's kryptonite to Bonifacio. Anything letters up.
Much improved, though. He used to chase that often, but he's really learned how to lay off that pitch more.
Two and two. Bonifacio a stolen base in the third. Those are his career numbers against Tim Lincecum. Shoots that one out into left center field. On comes Ross, and he makes the catch. Rowan was closing in as well. There's the benefit, Tommy, of having a couple of center fielders out there.
A couple of guys who take good routes, get good jumps, And good communication as well. First you thought Rowan was going to get it, and then Cody Ross takes over.
Cody didn't play too much left field in this ballpark, did he?
No. I can't remember really ever seeing him out there.
Yeah, mostly
right in center.
Right in center.
But you saw the center fielder Rowan about halfway there take a look over and see where Cody was and see that he had it, a good beat on it, and had it in hand, and he let him have it.
Now Meziga has sinking liner back in the third with Bonifacio at first base, and Rowan made a sliding catch in center field to rob him of a hit. He pulls that one. Keppinger dives on his feet, throws him out. Jeff Keppinger may have saved a run there. Tim Lincecum hanging on to that 2-0 lead.
I mean, it's a great game, but it's been a long time. But it's great to be here tonight and have fun, be here at the stadium.
You had a lot of great memories in this ballpark, but I know you've actually driven by the new ballpark and are looking forward to seeing the Marlins play there when you can get there.
Look at
Top of the sixth inning, 2-0. Giants on top. Well pitched game by both Tim Lincecum and Javi Vasquez. Let's check in with Frank Fort.
Thanks, Rich. With Dan Marino, of course, who had many great memories in this ballpark, but I don't know if some of our younger fans realize you played a lot of baseball, were actually drafted by Kansas City, I think it was.
You know, years ago, a long time ago, I was drafted by Kansas City, 79, out of high school. I love baseball. I mean, it's a great game, but it's been a long time. But it's great to be here tonight and have fun, be here at the stadium.
You had a lot of great memories in this ballpark, but I know you've actually driven by the new ballpark and are looking forward to seeing the Marlins play there when you can get there.
Look, it looks beautiful, and it's going to be a great thing for the city of Miami, and I'm excited about it for the Marlins. It's going to be exciting.
Dan, thanks for the time. I
Thanks,
appreciate
bud.
it. Good to see you.
Appreciate it, man. Good to see
Dan Marino, who did the number tear down tonight for the new ballpark. Rich and Tommy and Jeff.
A nice moment out there. Here is Keppinger. He lines one up the middle. Meziga with a diving catch. After Cody Ross banged one off the wall for a single, Keppinger lines one up the middle, and Meziga has the first out.
Well, one of the things we saw when Cody Ross was a Marlin was his instincts on the bases, in the field, at the plate. Good instincts there. A lot of runners get doubled up on that. But he held his ground because he knew that he had a chance of being caught, and Meziga made the play.
Javier Vasquez tonight has handled Pablo Sandoval twice. He has struck him out both times. Morrison over and now in and makes the catch. By the way, Tommy noted that Dan Uggla had a base hit in that ball game against the Cubs to extend his hit streak. He has another another home run. His
Oh,
27th of the season, his third in 2 nights.
And what's that? 14 home runs now during the streak.
33-game streak now?
33-game streak. He's hit 14 home runs during the streak.
He's got to be near the league lead now.
Yeah, 1-1. Cubs and Braves. Uggla at 27 homers. Here's Aubrey Huff.
Albert Pujols and Lance Berkman.
And another pitch that bounces by John Buck.
Each with 28. Prince Fielder with 27.
Wow,
So
that's remarkable.
Uggs is right there.
Good for him.
Absolutely. His batting average is now .230. Now you got Ross in scoring position. And Buck traps that one. It's 2-0.
You know, the bottom line, when it's all said and done for Dan Uggla this year, the Braves got him for right-handed production. And he's going to end up with production on the right side. They're not going to look at that batting average too much.
No, the Braves were desperate for power. And that had been sorely lacking in their lineup the last couple of years. That's going to be a tough play for Morrison. It's twisting towards the corner. Lomo dives. It's a fair ball. Morrison picks it up. Ross will score. Wow, it looked like Morrison was in foul territory when it bounced off his body. But he was right on the line, and it's costly for the Marlins. It's 3-0.
Get a little better angle right here. Yeah, he's in fair territory when the ball touches it. Looks like he's going to make the catch.
Yep.
And wow, got his finger.
Actually hit his hand.
Yeah, he got his hand in the way.
And it was a fair ball. It's where the ball is when touched. Vasquez upset. The wild pitch has been costly a couple of times tonight for the Marlins. And now here is Shearholtz. It's 3-0. It's going to go as an RBI double. One and one. There's Huff. 350th career double. Remember talking to Aubrey Huff last year in San Francisco about finally getting to a winning team after years in Tampa Bay before the Rays were good. Years in Baltimore while the Orioles struggled. And, you know, ball players cannot control, in the most circumstances, where they play, in a lot of circumstances. And Huff said he at times that last year thought to himself, I might never play for a winning team.
And what a great career he's had. And to play for a winner, there's no other feeling like it, especially to go into playoffs and win a World Series as he did with the Giants last year. You know, you hope that, especially your good buddies around the league that have not had a chance to do that yet, you hope they can at some point, because there's absolutely no feeling like it.
Vasquez misses up with his fastball.
This is the first inning, and it's been a little frustrating for Javi Vasquez, but this is the first inning that he hasn't been real sharp.
3-2 coming. Struck him out. But the Giants add another run, and on a night where Tim Lincecum is dealing, 3-0 lead feels like 8-0.
Y es presentado por KFC.
Another tight ball game. Cookie and Raul. Hi, Raul. Nice to have you back.
How are you guys? Hey, I got an interesting story. I saw Mike Quaddy last night. He looked pretty upset. I saw him in the hotel in Atlanta after their game against the Braves.
Yeah, he was, you know, a little miffed at his starting pitcher. Cody Ross navigates that warning track and makes the catch.
Yeah, I saw him in the elevator. I was about to say something, but I saw him. He looked pretty upset, and I said, you know what? Maybe now's not the time.
Not the time to mention Zambrano.
Did you spot Zambrano leaving the hotel?
No, but I didn't know when it happened. I wasn't aware of what had occurred. As soon as I got to the room, I put on SportsCenter, and sure enough, 10 minutes later, I was like, so that's why he was upset.
Yep. Was there a trail of bats and balls in the lobby?
Oh, my. Wow. I mean, I don't get it with Zambrano. But
I have a hard time believing that he is going to retire because he's owed $19 million next year. He's still owed another, what, $6 million this year. So for him to just walk away from that type of money because he feels like he can't get anybody out.
Yeah. I think he has to apologize to the manager and his teammates. I mean, you don't quit on the teammate. That's what Quad said, and I think he's right in that respect.
Yeah, the best quote was from his teammate Ryan Dempster, who said he's made his bed, now he has to lie in it.
Yep. I think most of his teammates would like to see him retire.
Yeah, that's true.
I like the way the umpire reacted, though. Immediately, I don't think the ball had hit the backstop, and he was jumping out and taking him out of the game, and then he took control of the whole situation, held everybody back from the dugout. So
I would agree. I would agree.
Everyone's seen that act before.
For sure.
All right, guys.
All right, take it easy, Jeff.
All right.
Have a good game.
Keep it going.
You too, guys.
Mike Stanton swinging and missing, and the count's 3-2.
That's not fair, by the way. He almost hits him with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and throws a nasty changeup down and away.
Little tapper, that's a fair ball, and Stanton is out. Hold on here. Mike Stanton's not real pleased, and Ron Kolpa barked right back at him. Let's take a look at it. It's not where it bounces first, it's where it ends up. It can start in foul territory.
Good call.
I think Stanton was arguing that by the time he picked it up, it had come back into foul.
Good play by Stewart.
the outset of the telecast tonight, we talked about the little things, and how the Marlins did all the little things right last night. And guys, tonight the Giants have done all the little things right.
They have, and they've Marlins have also made some mistakes, a lot of mistakes tonight that allowed a lot of base runners to advance bases.
A couple of wild pitches, a play in left field. It's a tough play, but a play that you hope is made, should be made. And the best little thing they have going for him is Tim Lincecum.
Lincecum, a tight breaking ball. It's 1-2.
I think Frank said the stat in pregame that Lincecum, I think it was 3 or more runs are scored for him in his career, or maybe it was more than 4 runs.
52-4.
It's decent.
He also leads the league in road earned run average. Earned run average on the road right now is just a little over 2. Which is a good sign for the Giants, because that's such a great pitcher's park. I mean, he pitches just as well on the road.
When he's needed 95, he's been able to dial it up. He did that to strike Dobbs out back in the first.
The other thing, when he's needed it, he's gone up in the strike zone too.
Dobbs has struck out twice. Lincecum has struck out 8 on the night. He's walked 3. He's 104 pitches. Marlins hitting here in the bottom of the 6th inning. That's about the only silver lining you can find for the Fish right now, is the fact that Lincecum's pitch count is 30 pitches higher than Javier Vasquez's. Dobbs pulls it. Huff, hugging the line, steps on the bag, and Tim Lincecum grab it on tight and hold on to a 3-0 lead. Time. This was the great catch by Aaron Rowan. Almost came out of the glove. But Rowan, a terrific outfielder, makes a sliding catch. The Frostbrewed Coors Light Freeze can. Gold Glove in 2007 for Aaron Rowan.
I was just about to ask you. I think he's won a Gold Glove, and I didn't know when.
There's your line for both Lincecum and Vasquez. Lincecum has had better defense behind him. Vasquez has contributed to his line and the 3 runs with a couple of wild pitches. Strike to Orlando Cabrera. Rowan and Chris Stewart will follow. Javi misses away. Last night, a duel between Matt Cain and Ricky Nolasco. Ricky went 8 innings, gave up just 1 run on 6 hits. Marlins got to Cain for 2 runs. And really, Nolasco and Vasquez have been the Marlins' best starters over the last month and a half.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, that as far as Javi Vasquez, he's almost been like the ace. There are the numbers of Ricky last night. He was outstanding once he got that lead.
The Giant staff, everyone talks about Lincecum and Cain, and arguably their most effective pitcher this year is pitching tomorrow, Vogelsong.
Battle of the V's tomorrow. Chris Volstad and Ryan Vogelsong. There's Cain's line from last night. Cabrera turns on the 2-2 fastball. Dobbs across the diamond. And there's an out here in the 7th inning. Our Toyota trend. The Marlins are riding a franchise best 5-game win streak against the Giants, which obviously stretches back to last year, having won the 3 games in San Francisco and game 1 last night. It's odd how when you play outside of your division, sometimes you can play a team 6 times, sometimes 5 times, a 2-game and a 3-game, sometimes 7. The Marlins will play the Padres 7 times, sometimes 8. You get 2 4-gamers, and every now and then you'll get 9 games against a team. Remember,
was it Milwaukee?
It was Milwaukee and San Diego in the last 3-4 years where the Marlins have had an extra series against a team out of the division. I would not like to be the person who makes the schedule. There are so many difficulties. Stadium availability, concerts, teams wanting to be home on holidays. Outside corner, Vasquez carves up Rowan.
One of those thankless jobs because you're not going to please everybody.
No.
Was a good pitch, and Javi Vasquez all game has shown the home plate umpire, Ron Kulpa, that he's going to be consistent. And because of that, he's gotten some pitches that were just off the plate. 8 strikeouts, no walks tonight for Javi.
Well, he really abused him there as well. He threw him some great breaking balls.
0-1 to Stewart.
I miscounted. 9 strikeouts for Javi.
Yeah, because now he is just 1 shy of Jack Morris for 31st all time. Stewart has bounced out and lined out.
Another great thing about a veteran pitcher like Javi Vasquez, he can go. We've seen him not use his breaking ball much at all this game because his fastball's been so effective and his changeup's been so effective. When that stops being effective, he can go to another very effective pitch in his curveball. He's got a very nice curveball. You saw him use it 2 times there to Aaron Rowan.
One, 2. There's the breaking ball. 10 strikeouts, and he draws even with Jack Morris. Well, the Marlins trail the Giants 3-0. Giants have a 3-0 lead. And the Marlins, who did all the little things right last night, have not tonight.
Yeah, just some little things going the wrong way. There's a base hit by Sherholtz. Not that bad of a throw by Morrison. I think you can put half blame on Amezaga, half on Gabby for not backing up or knocking that ball down. He gets the third and the wild pitch. He's able to come in and score. 6th inning. Some more little things. Another wild pitch. John Buck didn't really shift over to block that ball very well. Runner at second base, and Huff sends one. Not a great route by Lomo. He kind of circles it and then got there but couldn't hang on, and Cody Ross comes to score.
Gabby Sanchez pops out for the first out of the bottom of the 7th inning. And Tim Lincecum is just rolling right along.
Lincecum at 107 pitches. He's gone as high as 133 this year. So this is not uncommon for him to go in the mid-teens at least. Last start out, he threw 114 pitches.
And the Giants bullpen hasn't budged. Peterson takes down low. Peterson has walked and struck out.
Yeah, he's up first when they bat in the 8th. So I would think this would probably be his last inning. But he's thrown with a lot of ease, really, from the 4th inning on. Marlins have had just one base runner during that time, a walk.
The 2-0 pitch coming to Brian Peterson. And it's 2-1. Ryan Vogelsong tomorrow. And that's a Chris Volstad start. Peterson shoots that one into left field. Good approach against one of the game's best. Peterson, who had 3 hits last night, 1 for 2. He's been on base twice. And the more you see him play, the more you like him.
Tell you what, he's had great poise at the plate. Doesn't seem like he's panicked at all when he gets behind the count. Like you said, good fastball away, went with the pitch.
Dave Righetti, the longtime pitching coach for the Giants, has summoned the bullpen to get rolling.
And that's not Roland Office. That's looked like Jeremy Affeldt.
Dan Uggla has passed Roland Office. He's now in Ugla's rearview mirror. Uggla with 2 more hits tonight, including another home run. He's extended his hit streak to 33 games. Buck goes after a high fastball. It's 0-2. Santiago Casilla, Jeremy Affeldt. Giants pen. You get into the 8th inning, you'll find Sergio Romo with Brian Wilson lurking behind him. 0-2.
Well, I guess our theory of the Northwest boy coming to South Florida with the heat and humidity might run out of gas. It didn't hold much water, did it?
Hasn't held up. He's actually gotten stronger.
Mike Cameron is on deck. There's 1 out. Lincecum has only given up 9 home runs this year. And he strikes out Buck, 9th strikeout of the night. Boy, Vasquez has struck out 10. Lincecum has struck out 9. JM Lexus every night presents our leaders of the game. Since 2007, ahead of Justin Verlander and CC Sabathia. JM Lexus, price made us #1. Click jmlexus.com to find out how. You've got to think that as Wes Helms is going to take the at-bat, that Lincecum is going to get a Sabathia or Verlander type contract here. Though, as we noted, he has 2 more years of arbitration left. The Giants avoided the last 2 years. They signed him to a 2-year contract, $14 million a year.
Well, he'll be free agent, though, before. At the end of this contract, he'll be a free agent, correct? So arbitration.
No, 2 years of arbitration left. Arbitration next year, arbitration the year following.
Wow. Seems like he's been around longer than that.
They'll be dishing out some money to Kane, Matt Kane, and Lincecum. And you talked about Vogelsong pitching tomorrow. The Marlins scored 1 run off Vogelsong, Ryan Vogelsong in San Francisco, but they did win that game 1-0. Anibal Sanchez pitched well.
1-2. He strikes out Helms. 10 strikeouts apiece for Lincecum and Vasquez. Effort from both starters. Javier Vasquez gives way after 7 innings. He strikes out 10 Giants. And Steve Cishek will come out of the Marlins pen and try to keep it at 3-0 on a night where the Marlins quite bluntly have not played well defensively. They've had a couple of miscues out in left field. Some wild pitches have cost a couple of bases in key spots. When you're up against Tim Lincecum and he gives up only 2 hits and he strikes out 10, you have to be pretty darn perfect.
Yeah, if you're scoring 6-8 runs in a game, you can get by with a couple of little miscues. But when you're matched up against a guy like Lincecum the way he was throwing tonight, that's not going to help.
Mike Fontenot comes up, and the Marlins, at least they won't have to see Lincecum for the next couple of innings. Fontenot pinch hitting for Lincecum. And then you got Cody Ross and Jeff Keppinger. Cishek misses away. And it's a ball and a strike.
I'll tell you what, I really like Cishek. I like his delivery, his arm angle, his movement on his ball. I think as he matures, he's going to have like closer type stuff for me.
He seems to have a pretty good demeanor too,
yes.
Coach.
Two and two. For many years in Chicago, it was Fontenot and Terrio. But they've gone their separate ways.
The teammates at LSU.
And Fontenot swings and misses a good live fastball. Now, I know there might have been a San Francisco band that we've forgotten, or left out. We could only put 5 in the poll, so Jefferson Airplane or Starship.
Metallica could be in there.
Yeah. Didn't Metallica start in L.A. then move to San Francisco?
Something like that.
Yeah. 52% Journey. We actually have a vote from Nebraska tonight. Who did Nebraska vote for?
Still a little disappointed that the Grateful Dead are only at 19%.
Trouble ahead, Tommy. Trouble behind. Jerry Garcia. The Bay Area institution. The 1-1. My 12th grade history teacher was a deadhead. And he used to bring...
You have the tie-dye shirts?
Yes. He used to bring bootleg Grateful Dead tapes, because that was the thing to do, was make bootleg tapes of their concerts. And we do about...
The wonderful example for 12th graders.
We do about...
I thought you were going to say bootleg something else, like bootleg moonshine or something, too, to your classmates there.
We do 30 minutes of history, and then we'd listen to the Dead for the next 20. 2-2. Pulled on the ground. Dobbs across the diamond in time. Steve Cishek has a couple of outs here in the 8th. Tomorrow would be Sunday, which means it's a family Sunday. The Giants are here. We'll be here as well. Billy's birthday is tomorrow. Marlins back-to-school lunch cooler can be yours, courtesy of Geico. And you can run the bases after the game, 1-877-MARLINS, or go to marlins.com.
Hey, maybe we'll get one of those back-to-school lunch coolers. You can always use those.
Absolutely. Jeff Keppinger, who homered back in the first. It looked like for a while that was going to be the only run off of Javi Vasquez. It was until the 5th, and that's when the Marlins got sloppy. 0-2.
Cishek's got more strikeouts than innings pitched. Got to be an uncomfortable at bat for a right-hander. The way that arm angle is and the velocity, good movement on his ball.
Breaking ball misses away.
I think you can see too the success he's had just gives him more confidence too every time he goes out there.
Right-hander's hitting 232. Lefty's hitting just 241. Liner into right. Stanton comes on and didn't get this one. I had images of Vic Carapazza on that sliding attempt by Mike Stanton.
Yeah, this one got down a little quicker. And Mike couldn't get there. Good play just to knock it down. Looked like it bounced up and caught him in the face. Ouch.
Indeed, right in the jaw.
Ouch. Now we know that Mike can take a punch.
No glass jaw there. Not even rubbing it.
Randy St. Clair's on his way out to the mound. And this is an interesting at bat because you got Sandoval, a dangerous hitter.
And you have a guy, he's a switch hitter, and he's hitting over 300 both sides of the plate as a lefty and as a righty.
Mike Dunn in the bullpen. Now, going into last year, they had Operation Panda, where they tried to get Pablo Sandoval's diet under control and get him to drop about 40 or 50 pounds, and it didn't work. This offseason, after a year in which he did not perform well, he did drop some weight. He's one of those guys that is a much better athlete than his body shows. I think a Prince Fielder.
Yeah. You know, people tell me that all the time. Oh, Prince Fielder should lose weight. He should get, thinner. And he's been like that his whole life. I mean, I remember him meeting him at 14 years old. We had a little team get together at Cecil Fielder's house because it was near our spring training home in Melbourne, and Prince Fielder comes walking around the corner. He's like 14 years old and he's bigger than I am. I'm like, the kid was humongous. So he's been like that his whole life. This isn't something that's like, oh, he started off thin and put on weight.
I think everybody agrees, though, Sandoval got a little out of control, and it really affected his play last year. He went from being the funny, chubby guy who could hit 2 years ago to the out-of-shape guy who couldn't play third and was slumping at the plate.
That's what they really needed, too. They needed him at third base.
The 2-1. It's amazing. You think about how the Giants win the World Series. They didn't get a great year out of Sandoval. They had that enormous Barry Zito contract eating up a lot of payroll. Zito wasn't even on the postseason roster. And Cishek walks him.
Tough guy to walk, too.
And Sandoval certainly has bounced back this year, an all-star season, and his numbers right back up. Jack McKeon on his way out, and with the lefty Aubrey Huff coming up, Mike Dunn will trot out of the Marlins bullpen. 3-0 Giants in the 8th. Marooney called to the pen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call? Marooney!
But the Giants are threatening. Rich Waltz along with Jeff Conine. Tommy Hutton, it's what we expected. Tight ball game, pitcher's game. Little things have made the difference in this one as well.
Yeah, you play the close ball games. You just have to do those little things. We saw two outstanding performances, Javi Vasquez and Tim Lincecum.
Niner.
And unfortunately, the Marlins' few miscues, a few pass balls, a misplaced throw led to a couple Giants runs, but it doesn't really mean anything because the Marlins haven't scored.
No, and Javi Vasquez struck out 10 in his 7 innings. Marlins bullpen trying to keep it at 3-0, as it looks like the Fish are going to get the back end of the Giants pen unless the Giants put a couple more on the board. So it's Huff against Dunn. You got Shearholtz on deck. Keppinger at second, Sandoval at first.
By the way, Rich, 42nd time in Javier Vasquez's career that he struck out 10 or more. And for Lincecum, 31 times already.
High pop. Amezaga makes the catch. That's nice work by Mike Dunn. Come in, throw a pitch, get it out.
much, Rich. As Emilio Bonifacio gets set to lead off the inning, before the game, he was presented with his National League Player of the Month award. And since the beginning of July, Emilio's looked more and more like an everyday player. Here are some numbers why. He has taken more pitches this year, 56%, than he ever has in his career. When he does swing and he puts the ball in play, more than he ever has at 40%. His ground ball percentage is at 72%. Obviously, you want him hitting the ball on the ground with his speed, and his batting average on balls in play is 372. So Emilio Bonifacio, guys, is doing more of the things that the Marlins have asked him to do since he arrived in this organization. Rich, Tommy, and Jeff.
Thank you, Frank. As Bonifacio climbs in, Jeremy Affeldt is first out of the Giants' pen, and he grooves in a fastball for a strike.
That kind of goes along, Rich, with what you and I were talking about last night. I'm sure the ball club would love to see Bonifacio continue that, so they have a good feel and a good idea as to where they want to play him next year. Do they see him as an everyday player, or do they see him as a super utility guy?
Niner, it's important, and Tommy and I discussed it, another 6 weeks of Bonifacio doing what Frank just described, and then suddenly your projection as a player changes.
It does, and you know, going into next offseason, going into the new stadium, if he continues on this track, that fills a position they don't have to fill by free agency or trade going into next season.
And it could, the beauty of it is it could fill maybe up to 3 different positions, depending on what they can get in terms of trades or free agents. If they don't have an answer at third, he could be that guy. If they don't choose to re-sign Infante, he could be at second. If center field is still an issue, he might end up there.
Yeah, it's a luxury, and I think he's could be an above-average defender at all 3 of those spots you just mentioned. Second base actually being his natural position that he's most comfortable at. Marlins have a lot of options with him.
The guy that we compare him to in his first couple of years in the big league is Michael Bourne, who struggled his first couple seasons in Philadelphia and in Houston to get on base enough to make his speed a weapon. And that's obviously was a challenge for Bonifacio his first 2 years in the league.
Well, Frank just showed those numbers, and you saw so often when Bonnie did get in the game, he would chase that high fastball. You saw him hit a lot of balls in the air, especially in the infield, with 72 or 73% of ground balls. And being one of the league's fastest guys, that's a great stat.
Amezaga trying to push a bunt up the first base line, pushes it too hard. And Jeremy Affeldt is taking the baton from Tim Lincecum and running with it. Lincecum, 7 innings, just 2 hits, didn't give up a run, 3 walks and 10 strikeouts. And Affeldt has the first 2 outs here in the 8th, and you got Brian Wilson already heated up in the Giants' pen.
Oh, yeah, he's ready to go. Interesting routine he has, though. A lot of closers, unless there's some thought of him coming in this inning, but a lot of closers will wait till in between innings to get ready. But he's been throwing this whole inning, and he is ready to go.
And he is one of the rare closers that a manager will bring in for a 4 or a 5, or if needed, a 6-out save.
So that's possible. I mean, Bruce Bochy could be getting him ready for Mike Stanton.
Meanwhile, Affeldt is snapping off breaking ball after breaking ball. He's 1-2 on Morrison.
Well, another big part of their World Series championship. Affeldt works to lefties. He can get righties out.
Got him. 1, 2, 3, just like that. The Marlins down in the bottom of the 8th. To the 9th we go. 3-0 San Francisco. Tommy Hutton. We'd like to thank Jeff Conine for sitting in with us tonight. Niners had he's had a smile on his face all night long. And you know why? They have ice cream up here.
Aha.
It's all about the ice cream.
It is. It is. No, it's fun that you stopped by, and we hope to see you next series, Niner.
Yes, always a joy to come up and hang with you guys.
Yeah, enjoy having you. Now you'll have to go try to find Frank Ford.
That might be tough.
Yeah.
Actually, it's like, where's Waldo?
Look for a guy in a blue polo. He's down there somewhere. And while you're down there, whisper in the ear of whoever's on deck how to hit Brian Wilson.
Okay. You got any tips for me? What should I whisper? Swing when he drops the rosin bag?
Don't fear the beard.
There it is.
All right, we'll see you on the postgame show.
Okay, guys.
All right, have a good one. Thanks, Niner.
Mike Dunn working into the 9th. He finished the 8th. Nate Shearholtz and then Orlando Cabrera with Aaron Rowan scheduled as well. And Dunn misses in. Shearholtz has made an impact with his double in the 5th. Jose Seda.
You wonder if Mike Dunn will continue after Shearholtz, because after Shearholtz are right-handers.
Oftentimes it depends on for a guy like Jack McKeon. Jack, instead of going by the book, will oftentimes just see how a guy is throwing. Right now he's 2-2 on Shearholtz, but Jack certainly has the look of a manager about to hop out of the dugout. Ameziga has it. Let's see if Jack hops out of the dugout. Yep, he was out before that ball was in Ameziga's glove. And so Jack's on his way out. He's going to get Seda into this ball game. With 1 out in the 9th, Marooney called to the pen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call? Marooney!
And nobody on base. The scoring started for the Giants in the 1st. Jeff Keppinger against Javi Vasquez, our Gunther drive of the game. For Keppinger, his first home run as a Giant.
Yeah, he hit 4 as a member of the Astros. Here's a guy, Rich, I think the Marlins certainly need to find out about. I mean, in AAA in New Orleans, 24 of 27 in save opportunities and a 1.36 ERA. They need to find out can Jose Seda translate those numbers or close to those numbers up here?
We talked about the struggles of Pablo Sandoval to control his weight. For Seda, that's been an issue in his career as well. Of course, there are some pitchers who will lose a lot of weight and all of a sudden lose their fastball.
CC Sabathia doesn't want to hear about that weight thing. Even though he had an odd start last night, he lost. He hadn't lost too many this year. The Tampa Bay Rays hit 5 solo home runs off CC Sabathia.
And by the way, a postscript to that Keppinger home run, as Brian Wilson is getting loose. For the Giants, their 21st consecutive home run where it was a solo home run, and that is a major league record. Dobbs, little spin. He's had a nice night at third base tonight.
That is an incredible record, because I think I said it last night. You just assume that every once in a while somebody's going to be on base when one of their hitters goes deep. But 21 consecutive solo home runs.
I think that's one of the reasons their leadoff spot, Andres Torres, was not getting on base. The top of the Giants order has not been great about setting the table for the Pablo Sandovals and the Aubrey Huffs of the world. There's a strike to Rowan. Brandon Belt was called up. Torres was actually placed on the disabled list. Bouncer to third. Dobbs sets his feet, throws him out. Good work out of the pen. Cishek, Dunn, and Seda combined on a couple of scoreless innings. Fear the beard. Here he comes. South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who are you going to call? 1-877-Maroonie. And by Subway, eat fresh. 3-0 San Francisco. Mike Stanton climbs in. Brian Wilson on the mound, and the Giants closer pours in a fastball for strike one. And you can hear the Giant fans who are here tonight. Wilson, who has blown 4 saves this year, 34 of 38.
You've seen his 2 pitches. Fastballs, 95, 97, hard sliders.
Stanton, Dobbs, and Gabby Sanchez. And a knee-high strike. describe Brian Wilson? Colorful? Eccentric?
I would say colorful more than eccentric. Describe him as a terrific closer. Only Craig Kimbrell with more saves.
Bruce Bochy was talking about his closer today, and he said, yeah, he might be a little wild in terms of his look, but nobody works harder. He has an incredible workout regimen, off-season and in-season, and he strikes out Stanton with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, it's not just rear back and throw hard. I mean, he spots the ball. Look at it. Look at where he throws this fastball, brings it back, just catches the outer part of the plate.
So 1 out here in the 9th, and here is Dobbs. Brian Wilson is out of Londonderry, New Hampshire, and played his college ball at LSU. Three-time All-Star.
Look at that, the ERA against the Marlins over 6.
Dobbs lines it into center field. That's a base hit. A 1-out single, and here is Gabby Sanchez. Of course, Wilson was absolutely untouchable in the postseason last year. He made 10 appearances, went 11 2/3 innings, gave up just 5 hits and an unearned run. This is inside. Those are the postseason numbers. His offseason and his in-season workouts are said to be so intense. He likes to get his heart rate as high as he can get it and keep it there as long as he can get it, because he reasons that when he's in trying to close a game, that's how he's going to feel. So you might as well get the blood pressure up and the heart rate up
and get that same feel.
So he's in incredible shape. Three-one pitch. 3-2. Gabby shoots it into the seats, and of course he was on the mound for the very end in Arlington. The San Francisco Giants' only world championship. 3-2. He walks Gabby Sanchez. He is prone, though, to some anxiety in terms of his manager in the 9th inning. He's not a guy that is always a 1-2-3 kind of guy.
Hey, Mariano Rivera, he is not.
But he may be the next best thing.
Yeah.
Now Peterson. You've got Buck on deck. Peterson takes a strike.
sometimes the closer, and you see he hasn't worked in almost a week. And sometimes closers like that everyday work, getting out there.
One and one. Those 4 hits have actually come in the last 2 games for Peterson. A strike. Peterson looks back. And it's 1-2. Wow, it's close.
That one puts you in a hole because all of a sudden now it's 1-2.
Got him to chase. 2 strikeouts for Wilson. And here is John Buck, who has struck out twice and walked. And Buck takes a strike. Oh, 1. That's up. A light rain falling here in Miami. Couple on, a couple out. Bottom of the 9th. Brian Wilson against John Buck. And a ground ball out to second. Keppinger has it, and the Giants have evened the series at a game apiece. Tim Lincecum, 7 overpowering innings. Jeremy Affeldt worked a scoreless 8th. And Brian Wilson allowed a couple base runners, but he locks down his 35th save of the season. In just 2 hours and 29 minutes, and Brian Wilson gets our checkers double Ks of the game. Hey, you got to be creative sometimes. 35th save for Wilson. Lincecum is now 11-9 with the win. Javi Vasquez, who struck out 10, gets the loss. He is 7-10.